Yes, 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 yes. Welcome, 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 welcome in. I don't know what to call this. I'm not going to call it anything. I don't know right now, but this is a new video. It'll probably be on a podcast platform somewhere, probably on the BrosWhoThink network. It's like its own thing. But welcome to this first wrestling content. My name is Lynden Burton, joined by my guy, Mr. Peter McGinn. Pete, how you doing, brother?
Oh, doing great. First time in a long time I get to sit down and talk wrestling, so I'm pretty excited about this.
Look, I am super excited. Now, look, this is something we talked off air. If this becomes a podcast, it becomes a series, whatever it may be, it will have a name, whatever it becomes. But this is something that, like, I talk wrestling a little bit on my radio show during the summer because, like, during the summer there's no sports, and I was like, okay, I like talking this because for the longest I kept wrestling to myself. Like, as a podcaster, Pete, you know, we talk about a lot of stuff, and whenever you talk about stuff as a podcaster, I don't want to say it loses its luster, but you look at it a different way.
100% you look at it differently.
Like, whether it's anime, movies, TV, I don't look at it as I did 3 years ago. And wrestling for me was something special because I didn't talk about it. So I got to look at it as a fan. But as you know, Pete, for someone like myself or someone like you, when you love something like we do, you have to talk about it.
No, for sure. And it's there's no better time than now to talk about it. We're entering a new era of wrestling where not only do we have a brand new competition where it's a real threat, but we also have a changing of the guard in WWE. So it's just a chaotic sphere that we're living in, and we're just at the starting line. So getting to talk about it and seeing where it goes from here is just like how we're going to see where these promotions are going to go as well. I'm along for the ride.
100%. It feels like this is the first boom period was Hulk Hogan. Well, obviously they had the stuff before this, but in the modern era, first boom period is Hulk Hogan. Second boom period is the Attitude Era with Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. Some people say that Punk and CM and John Cena had a boom period, but it wasn't really one then. Now it feels like we're going through the third boom period, a real one of, like you said, the Roman Reigns era, changing the guard to Triple H, and then having AEW be what it is as true competition. This is something that I'm excited that we're doing. Also, if you're on the network, we will have a episode drop with myself in the Wrestling Room podcast. Shout out to my guy, Brian H. Waters, who is a producer and host over at The Ringer for the Ringer's Wrestling Show, along with his co-host, Dwayne Allen and Brother Hugh. An amazing conversation of just the state of wrestling. But I had to do it break it down with my guy, Pete, because this is probably who I'll be talking wrestling the most with. Someone that, like I said, this could be a video series, this could be a podcast, whatever it may be. And this is a guy that I'm excited to pick his brain because in our Discord, me and him are literally, there's a feed called Wrestling, and we're the only people talking. So, Pete, let's start this off by introducing ourselves. Even though people know us from our respective platforms, but they don't know us as wrestling fans, tell people literally your favorite wrestler, how you got into wrestling, and you could do favorite wrestler all time and favorite wrestler current, and we'll both give ours.
Yeah, so most kids from the 90s, I grew up in the Attitude Era. The Rock, Stone Cold, all that jazz. That's kind of how I got my introduction to it. Kind of fell out of wrestling in like my teens and early 20s, and kind of got more into it again when I got more active on like social media, when I started to see like clips more than actually watching the show. Because as you know, Raw as a 3-hour show can be a lot. It's a lot. And like, you have to fill content a weekly for 3 hours can be a damning task. So I kind of fell out of favor with it. And then I started getting really into watching some of the other stuff that I wasn't familiar with. And I really got hooked into wrestling again, seeing the Ricochet versus Will Ospreay match and the Best of Super Juniors in New Japan.
When you told me about that match, I was like, and that was literally one of the first matches you told me about in the New Japan era that I was like, oh shit. And when you told me about that, that was like, okay, I've been watching WWE and AEW, but Pete put me onto this New Japan shit that changed my whole perspective of everything.
Yeah, it was unlike anything I guess like Rey Mysterio would probably be like the best
American person.
I was accustomed to lucha wrestling, but this was like a new style of like acrobatic wrestling, I would say, with Osprey and Ricochet. And that kind of got me into New Japan, which then got me into this was like I want to say this was like 2016.
Okay.
And it was in the transition period where AJ Styles was leaving essentially Bullet Club and Kenny Omega was taking over. And that's when I got really invested into Bullet Club and really invested into Kenny and the Bucks and
I can see
like
how
Adam
seeing
Cole
that
eventually down the road.
I can see how seeing that in the moment got you so into it because those guys are so cool. And like, we'll talk about it, but like, I
Yeah.
didn't get to experience that, but to experience that live, the formation of the Bucks, Adam Cole, and Hangman, and all those dudes making the elite Bullet Club, that had to be
Yeah.
special.
And I got like, and so I was like, okay, so I think I got invested because I could relate to, I mean, there were Americans over in Japan. I didn't know the names of any Japanese wrestlers. I only was like, oh, I can pronounce Kenny Omega. I'm
Yeah.
probably going to look up Kenny Omega. And then I kind of got hooked into watching Okada, Tanahashi, um, um, all these other like wrestlers,
Tomatonga.
like top the Tongas, yeah, Toma Tonga
Yeah.
and his brother, Bad Luck Fale, like these like
What's the
staples of New
Yakuza
Japan,
boss?
especially Bullet Club.
The
Oh,
Yakuza boss that fights.
Hero, he's the pimp. Yeah, I
Yeah, he
forgot.
has his own. He has his own.
He's like the worst member of Bullet Club. Like,
But does he have a
um,
faction now? I'm talking about the one that fought Eddie Kingston with all the cuts on his head or whatever.
oh, that's Suzuki. That's
Yes,
Suzuki. Yeah.
Suzuki Goon with Zack Sabre Jr.
Suzuki Goon is, I mean, yeah, Suzuki is like the one guy you don't want to meet in a dark alley because he just feels like other people are gonna beat you up. He looks like he's gonna kill you.
Yeah,
I love Suzuki, and yeah, from then it kind of I got more and more invested to it. I started going to like live shows when they were in town. Um, Started watching like the pay-per-views, sometimes watching shows weekly depending on what was going
sure.
on. I would
Yeah.
probably like look in advance, and then yeah, kind of fell out of favor again. Maybe like a year ago, but then getting more and more into it as of late. Watched Dynamite in its full entirety for the first time yesterday.
Okay.
I haven't done that since the first or second episode, or when CM Punk came back. So it's been I've just been more invested and getting more into it, and it reignited my love for it. So yeah, that's kind of my journey to where I was and where I am today.
Gotcha. Who would you say your favorite wrestler is of all time and your favorite wrestler right now? So people can know who we're pulling for when we do these vids.
For sure. My favorite wrestler of all time.
And we got to get WWE and AEW favorite current for sure.
Favorite wrestler of all time is CM Punk, but as of late, not at all.
We're going to talk about that.
We have some information out, but not the whole story. So I don't want to say anything right now for it to only backfire on me. But
yeah,
right now it just seems like he's the get off my lawn angry old man. And the pizzazz that I liked about CM Punk is just gone, to be honest. I used to pop every time his music came on, and now it's just like it's not the same. Kind of falling out of favor with him. I hope that like he can
pick it up,
looking back at like what happened and maybe come to his senses a little bit. But him, yeah, we could talk about it later, but like just where he's at right now is just I'm not the biggest fan. AEW, I'm like 50-50. Like Kenny Omega is like my favorite like in-ring performer probably, but right now it's Eddie Kingston. I
was waiting for it.
Eddie Kingston is just has the coolest gimmick in such a long time, where he doesn't understand that wrestling isn't real, and I love that gimmick. When they had that match where he came down with the gasoline thing, I was just like, oh, like I thought he looked straight out of like a GTA game. I
feel like that was the moment, the pay-per-view, where me and you were like, oh, we both love this shit, and we sent the picture, and it was like, oh, we gotta make a channel in the Discord, because that photo of Danielson looking at him with the fucking gas can in the black and white, that's an image, man. When I think of wrestling 2022, there's multiple moments like the cleaner coming back, walking down, You could think of MJF with the mic in his hand saying, "You fucking fire me, Tony." But another moment has to be, and Brock with the tractor, of course, the Roman stuff. But another moment has to be Eddie Kingston with the gas can.
I think for how new AEW is, I think if you had to capture it in one image, I feel like that's it. Like that is the most iconic AEW picture to me.
It really might. I can't. And like I know I said about MJF and Omega, but I think you have a point. Like I can't think of a single image. Like even from the two Kenny coming back and MJF's promo, it's the video of those that in like the whole thing. Whereas like if you want one snapshot, Kingston, that's a good call. We'll probably do a video of our top AEW moments, and like that's high up there. So okay,
it's probably. I mean, I'm trying to think of like the night where Cole and Danielson debuted.
Yeah,
was pretty iconic.
Adam Cole breaking up the Undisputed Elite was a moment.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, we could save that for another time.
Yeah, that's got to be its own video.
That's where I am in.
Okay,
in so
AEW is Eddie Kingston. What WWE favorite one right now?
Man, I know it's kind of generic, but coming from me, I think it's Roman Reigns. Like I was like the biggest Roman Reigns hater forever. I think a lot of people were. Like his face run was
horrible.
Okay, it wasn't horrible. It was forced.
Yeah, I was about to say
forced.
And we'll talk about that because that's something I want to bring up to you when we talk WWE today, is about how Vince kind of ruined Roman's face run. Like that was Vince's ideas of all that stuff he was doing. Roman said when he wanted to be a face, he wanted to be basically, and this is my words, but this is how I see what he was describing, basically Stone Cold, but I don't want to say a black version of Stone Cold, but just a Stone Cold that's more who he is and more of someone today who's into hip hop and more into the zeitgeist that is today, where Stone Cold was like rock and pounding beers. Roman would have been the guy that's more of like, I listen to rap, I'm a big sport, like that type of baby face, not as sincere and pretty boy as John Cena, but gritty like Stone Cold.
Because John Cena had the like respect, whatever he had,
respect, hustle, loyalty, and respect.
Respect. So he had like these like virtues that he was like presenting to like the crowd.
He was more Roman Reigns Hogan than anything.
And Roman Reigns was, I'm big Samoan guy. Like, okay, why are you a face then?
Exactly.
Like, and then you could still have like attitude and be a face, and that's not an issue. But like he never was like presented with or given the opportunity to do that. And now with the bloodline, I feel like he can express himself more. And when you see wrestlers having fun, whether it's with their promos or their in-ring work, we feel it as fans. And it elevates not only them, but like the enjoyment factor and everything that's going on with the wrestling promotion itself. So that's kind of like where I feel with Roman, where not only has he elevated himself, he elevated the belt. He seems untouchable, and that hasn't happened for a really long time. And it's really fun to watch somebody like that again.
Hey, I'm with you. And when I give my favorite, we'll discuss more about that. So basically my journey is like Pete. As a kid, growing up, I was a fan of it. More so when I went to my friend JJ's house, shout out to him. He was a huge fan of The Rock. So that's where I watched wrestling. Didn't really watch it so much at my house, but I was always at his house. Loved The Rock, loved what I saw. But really growing up, I was more of like Randy Orton. Something about Randy Orton and Triple H. I loved them. When JJ's cheering for The Rock to win, I'm cheering for Triple H. So that's where I was at. And I fell off. I would say I stopped watching consistently in like 8th grade, and then from like that point until really early 2022, late 2021, I didn't watch. And then I heard in 2021 AEW is a thing. Okay, well, what's this? And then I started watching a little bit of that, watching a little bit more WWE, started talking to Pete, like, hey, Pete, what's some of your favorite wrestlers? Pete tells me about Omega. I go and watch all of the Omega matches. Shout out to Wrestling with Andy, who does the documentaries on Netflix. Not on Netflix, on YouTube. I literally went through all of his documentaries on all the people that I didn't know, learned about it, went to the old generations, learned. It was a sponge. I was soaking it up because whether or not you watch wrestling, if you watch wrestling documentaries, they're so fucking interesting because these people have such interesting lives because, yes, they're actors, but at the same time, they're athletes. And then it's like these falls they take are so incredible. And when you watch death matches of them really putting barbed wire on them, it's like, it's so enticing. So I wanted to learn about Mick Foley, Terry Funk, all of these people who originated the death match. And then talking to Pete, I got really into New Japan, watching all the old Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada, Tanahashi matches, watching Will Ospreay, then getting into King Switchblade. So that's my journey. I would say my favorite all-time wrestler would be Triple H of all time. I love the game. I would say my favorite right now wrestlers with WWE. With WWE, I'm with Pete. Acknowledge us, Roman Reigns, number one. But I would also say Cody Rhodes is my backup. Him and Seth are my two backups.
Sure. Great choices.
And I love some Montez Ford. Both of us have a big love for Montez Ford. I'm just waiting for Montez Ford's single run, and then that's when I'm going to really, really, really be on it. Because, like, I love him in I'm blanking on his name, but I love him with the Street Profits, of course. I don't want to see, when Montez does do a singles run, I don't want them to break up the Street Profits how they normally would break up a tag team where there's beef. No, I want them to be cool. And it just so happens that, Montez has to do his own thing. Oh, Dawkins. And Dawkins is a big One Piece fan. So I love me some Dawkins. But yeah, I would say literally my favorite right now with WWE, it would go Roman, Cody, a little Seth, and then Montez Ford. That's where I'm at. I do like Carmelo Hayes in NXT. I think Carmelo Hayes is the freaking future. And we'll probably do a video on that on like guys who will take over, who are the future from the young guys. But in AEW, you know where I stand, Pete. It is Kenny Omega time and John freaking Moxley, baby. I love John Moxley. I was so upset when CM Punk took the title off him, but I got it. I understood it, but John Moxley is my guy. What John Moxley did this past summer for AEW was fucking incredible. Everybody's injured. You know what? John Moxley holds down the damn fort and picks it up, and I absolutely love that. Also, I love me some MJF too.
Oh, I mean, MJF is
best heel, but Roman would be the best, like the best overall heel, but I think MJF's next up after him.
I feel like Roman is on like a whole another level in terms of like where he is, where like I think he transcends heel.
The heel, yeah. I didn't want to say it, Pete. Like Roman to me is not your typical heel. He's not a face. Roman is just a mob boss who's just out there living and like you pull for him. Whereas MJF is this slimy, dirty, greasy heel.
Yeah. In terms of pure heels, I think MJF is like 1A if you count Roman.
Mm-hmm.
But MJF is he's also just on another level. His mic work is what the things that he's getting away with saying. I'm assuming Tony Khan is paying some like FCC fines.
Yep.
But it's worth it to elevate where MJF is right now.
And you could tell that Tony Khan paid him because now MJF is going crazy. Like MJF is all the way in. MJF has a faction developed around him. I guess now that we've gotten our stuff out, I guess we can start there really, because I know we're going to talk about the pay-per-view you told me, you sent me, which is a great idea for us to discuss. That'll be probably our main topic. But right now, I guess we can go some of the stuff that we're liking in AEW, some storylines, and then we can go to WWE and I'll bring up some stuff. But I think MJF's faction is something we got to start off with AEW. Did you not see that the other day?
Well, I mean, I know. So I'm like,
because I can tell you who it is.
Refresh me, because I know. Yeah, I know Stokely.
Stokely's like the manager.
Got him the chip.
Yep.
At All Out for MJF to essentially get his Money in the Bank.
Yep.
Like title.
I love how they call it a damn casino chip. Y'all are basically doing Money in the Bank. It's okay.
I mean, it is Money in the Bank. Let's be real.
100%. But yeah, it's Stokely who is. So MJF and Stokely had a past in the Indies where Stokely was his manager, and basically they're bringing that back. Stokely is his manager, recruited Ethan Page, which I think Ethan Page is underrated. Like something about Ethan Page I like, and I'm just like, why is this guy not bigger? But then I'm like, part of me doesn't like you.
I like Ethan Page because we're similar in height and weight, and I actually watched. He was like a huge motivation for me to like start my diet. He did like
nice.
a whole thing on YouTube of like what he was eating and how he was training, essentially how he got jacked to where he is now.
Fuck yeah.
Because he was kind of a punch ball when he was on the indies. And when he got to AEW, he's for his size, I would say he's pretty ripped.
He is. So, I need to go watch that because I've been trying to get back in the gym as well.
Yeah, it was really cool because he was more of like, this was like during COVID and stuff like that, and he did a lot of like in-home stuff and just like how he like snacked and ate and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, like I'm gonna try this too. So yeah, I think he is. I like him as a. I think he's okay.
Yeah, because like him and Scorpio Sky didn't really gel. But
I don't like Scorpio Sky.
Yeah, like I didn't like that faction with him, Scorpio Sky, and I don't even know their manager's name. Like I did not rock with those dudes.
I like Scorpio Sky when he was with like Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian. I like them. If they ever came back to be like a trios team, since they have the belts, the trios belts now,
that'd be a good one.
I'd be fine with that. They seem like a decent like trios team, but like Scorpio Sky by himself. I think when he was like competing for like the TNT,
and they had him as a heel, it just didn't work.
This ain't it. This ain't it.
No, I'm with you. So Ethan Page is in there, Stokely Carmichael. You have the Guns, which I'm very interested that the Guns are the tag team that represents them. And we'll talk. I guess we can talk about the Guns now. The Guns to me are just this weird dynamic because I love the Acclaimed, but like I don't know if the Guns are a good tag team. Like I like them with their dad, but now that they're not with their dad, I don't know what their personality is. I know Austin can rap really well, but they're not about to let him be the white rapper while the Acclaim is the other rapper.
They can't. If we get the Grand Slam, we'll talk about the Acclaimed, but I thought that the Gun Club kind of got buried with like with like their dad leaving their essentially like disowning
the
their
Gun
family,
Club anymore. Yeah,
disowning their family and joining the Acclaimed. And I like the Gun Club's look. I feel like if they were in like NXT, they'd be great.
That's what they need. Yes, I agree. They need development.
Yeah, I don't think they're like. I don't feel like they're main stage players. Where I don't view them as like a threat. I'm trying to think if there was another tag team to choose from. I understand like their thought process of
like they need a tag team for that group. Yeah, but I just don't. I don't know if they're the ones. Maybe you go take like I would have liked if Jungle Boy would have been like, yeah, fuck all this, y'all screwed me over. I'm about to be a villain. And if Jungle Boy picked someone to go with him to MJF, I think that would have worked better than the damn Gun Club.
Oh, see, I can never see Jungle Boy as a heel. He just radiates
babyface.
Fate. I mean, he's small. He's kind of handsome. The long blonde hair, like
the music. You know, I get what you're
really
saying.
Screams. Yeah.
I just think like if Christian would have like broke him, but like you're right. I don't know any tag teams that could have replaced for the MJF faction because you needed them to be a heel, and I don't think Jay Lethal is like gonna join the MJF faction.
Well, he has his own faction.
Yeah, exactly.
Giant Indian dude.
Yeah, and, Sanjay Singh, is that his name or something like that?
Yeah. And then like Andrade has like his own
faction. Yeah.
I'm going through the roster right now. I'm trying to see like who I think would be like really good in their team.
In the faction, yeah.
Faction. Okay, because Wardlow used to be MJF's muscle,
and now he has Morrissey.
I feel like I would rather have like Brian Cage, because not only Brian Cage is, I think he's like a douchebag in real life. I think he like radiates like heat, like bad heat, which is what you want.
Yeah.
I guess if they weren't hurt, Top Flight. I don't know if you're familiar with them. With Dante Martin.
Yeah, with his
Dante Martin's brother.
Yeah, that would have been.
But his brother got hurt, so
So
Dante Martin's doing solo work. Also, I'm biased because they're from Minneapolis. So
damn, and you're right. The Dante Martin thing would have worked because it could have been the storyline of what I see the MJF thing is AEW doesn't appreciate us. We're the heels of AEW coming to take over this bullshit company. And like, because Ethan Page is that, MJF is that, Stokely's that, and Dante Martin and his brother could have been the baby faces that are like, no, y'all didn't give us a shot. Y'all brought us to this. We're joining MJ. Damn, Pete, I like that. I do.
Yeah, and I think that they're like more polished in the ring than Gun
Yeah,
Club.
for sure. Like what they do, they're I'm not gonna say they're Ricochet and Will Ospreay, but they do some crazy shit.
I mean, they're kind of like Private Party. Like, I mean, they're very that athletic spot fest type of wrestlers, but I like their dynamic a little bit more than say Private Party or Gun Club.
I'm with you. And I think, okay, so the way it should be laid out, I think it's MJF world champion. You have Lee Moriarty, or not Lee Moriarty. Is his name W Morrissey? That's the big muscle one?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the one that I can see going after Wardlow's title. Not saying he'll win, but they set it up to where each of them goes after a title.
So I'll talk about who I want going after Wardlow when we actually talk about Grand Slam.
Okay.
I have my thoughts.
Okay. And then you have Ethan Page as the All Atlantic, being from Canada. You have who's the girl that joined their faction? I know they have a girl. I forget who it is. I'm trying to see if this article doesn't say it, but whoever it is, the girl will go after that title. And then you have the Gun Club, I'm guessing, going after the tag team, which I think is their weakest part of their faction.
And I there's no way they're beating FTR. So
yeah, no. And we'll talk about that when we talk about, like you said, Grand Slam, because what's going on with AEW's tag team really has me pissed off. Like that, to me, it has me so upset. We'll get to that. So shout out to MJF's faction. We will see where they go from here, but I feel like this is the most important faction now that the Elite are suspended and everything with CM Punk. So let's talk about that right now, because I feel like that's the most important thing. Then we'll go to WWE, and then we'll do Grand Slam. Yep. So, Pete, to me, man, I am at the point where it's like, look, I get you have to suspend the Young Bucks in Kenny Omega because it's for the look. You have to do it. I would literally bring them back by November, December. But CM Punk might not be able to come back.
It sounds like they're getting some calls already that the suspensions are done.
Oh,
because they didn't make it public what the actual suspensions were. They just said that they were suspended. Kenny Omega went to Japan, and he's in the new Yakuza game. He's doing motion capture for the Yakuza
and he was
game.
hanging out with his boy from the Golden Lovers.
He was hanging out with Kota Ibushi in Japan.
Yeah,
so he took a vacation. It sounds like Punk is going to be sidelined for like 8 months with his injury anyway. So he was going to lose the title anyway. So
I just don't know how you bring him back.
As much as I love CM Punk, I think they're waiting because they hired like a third party for the investigation, and they're doing like interviews and stuff like that. If it comes out that like CM Punk is like the agitator and all this stuff, and he started this rumble, I honestly think he should be fired. Like,
yeah, I'm with you.
Unless he's like him and the Bucks like talk it out, like he understands like what happened and he was wrong and he was in like a bad mental spot or whatever.
That's the only way, because you got to think the entire locker room for the most part has beef with this dude, and like my thing is, you look, there's two types of people. There's him and there's Bryan Danielson. If you hear what you hear from the locker room about Bryan Danielson, everyone loves that guy. That guy did not come in, oh, I'm this big WWE guy. I have advice. I should be the locker room leader. Listen to me. That's just the energy CM Punk gave off. Whereas Daniel Bryan was like, hey, everybody, I'm here. If you need advice, come to me. But if not, it's okay. Like, I love what y'all doing. I want to be a part of it. And then people started to ask him advice when they saw him lead by example. And I think that's how CM Punk should have came out. And if Bryan Danielson wins the AEW championship, even though I want Jon Moxley to, and we'll talk more about that, it makes sense because Bryan Danielson earned his way there and people respect the hell out of him.
Yeah, it lead by example is a great word. The locker room leader, who is going to be the one that,
and I think they lost it. It was Cody.
I think they did too, because I think the Bucks were those people as well. And it just seems like right now it's with them gone. I guess I'm not backstage, so I don't necessarily know this, but like something feels a little off. Nothing. It's not perfect, like it
Mhm.
was before. And I'm just more like intrigued to see like the aftermath of what happened, because when this came out, like that there's this backstage brawl. Kenny got bit.
Yeah. While
Nick,
trying to save the dog. He was trying
yeah,
to save CM Punk's dog.
Nick Jackson maybe got punched out and knocked out and
The
all this
other one got
stuff.
a chair thrown at him by Ace
Yeah,
Steel.
and so like when it came out, like this happened, and then I was tuned in to watch. I think it was Rampage.
Yeah, no, it was
No, it was
Dynamite.
Wednesday. No,
It was
it was
Dynamite.
Dynamite. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
because
on
I
Wednesday.
watched that as well.
I
Tony
remember because
Khan did this pre-recorded. I was like, TC, bro, if that was Vince McMahon would have been on the stage. That's my only thing with Tony Khan. He should have been out there ready to go.
like you could have made this a spectacle. Like as much as the
Mhm.
situation sucks, Vince would have ran with it. Like
Yep.
he would have made a spectacle of it. He would have got eyes on the product.
Just like
What?
Vince did Brett, screwed Brett. Like
Yeah.
TC should have been like CM Punk
I-
fired.
That's what I was hoping for. I was hoping for like Tony Khan comes out, addresses the situation, lays out suspensions, tells us what the suspensions are. And
Mhm.
so, but then there's just like, yeah, the pre-recorded message was kind of just like
whack.
whack, and then it's like, okay, let's go wrestle now. It's like, wait, what? Like
John Moxley showed more control of that company with his speech, where it's like, I'm sorry I let y'all down. I'm going to be like, that's what Tony Khan should have did. And somebody made a TikTok video that was hilarious, where it was John Moxley, Chris Jericho, and Bryan Danielson gathers the locker room together, and they're basically like giving him the speech like, hey man, look, this is this. And then like Tony Khan pops his head in and they're like, Tony, what are you doing? Get out of here. It's like it just, and we're not back there, but it just seems like he's a fan. Like it doesn't seem like he has control, which sucks.
It does suck. And that was, I think this was like the first big controversy around AEW. And it's one of those things where like when you watch like a WWE documentary and stuff like that, they show how they make these scandals or fights or whatever into something.
Yep.
And this was just like sweeping it under the rug. And it was really anticlimactic. And I was just like, I feel like I probably would have watched the entire show if that wasn't the case. But because that was like a pre-recorded message, I mean, I was just like, I really don't care about what the matches are tonight. Like, to be honest.
I literally, Pete, I was right there with you. I watched the TK performance or whatever, his pre-recorded message. I watched MJF and Brian and John Moxley's promo, and then I turned it off. Like I wasn't even that interested in watching Danielson versus Hangman Page live. Like I watched the pre-recording later. To your point, like I was just let down because, like you said, if this was WWE, that whole show would have been a spectacle.
Yeah, it's the sports I know that they're so emphasized on wrestling, but it's also entertainment. This is the entertainment factor for the non-in-ring work. Like this is what you run,
and this is the most eyes you've had on your company. Like even though it's a shitty thing, you could transform that into a positive.
You could, and especially okay if the outcomes are that they fire Punk, this would have been perfect.
Yeah,
absolutely perfect. You would have this, you could run commercials with this. It could be such a great way to get eyes on the prize, and that's part of wrestling is I mean, we like both big major promotions, but it's fun to talk about how AEW did this better than WWE.
Yes.
How is WWE respond to this? Because competition makes both parties better.
Yep. And for the most part, we were talking, man, AEW's killing it, Forbidden Door, this, that, and the third. They have these eyes on him, and then boom, Triple H gets in office, and it seems like Tony Khan doesn't know what to do. Like it seems like he's scared of Triple H, but because he knows NXT was special, and Vince was kind of the hindrance.
Thank God that they're bringing NXT
Black and Gold back. Yeah,
Black and Gold back. That was a
or white and gold now.
Well, yeah, white and gold, but it's like it was. Yeah, I'm still calling it black and gold. Like if Triple H is running it, it's black and gold. Like
100%.
I get what they're trying to do, but like it's black and gold to me.
So
like, bring back Ciampa, please.
We'll get look. So is that all we have on AEW's CM Punk Kenny Omega situation?
Yeah, I think so. I'm just more intrigued to see like the
What
investigation
happens?
outcomes and
Yeah.
what comes of it. So I think it'd be fun to talk about when we have that information. Right now, it's just all speculation, and I don't want to bullshit my answers if I don't know anything.
And that's fair. And last thing I'll say is, Pete, for next time we do something and we talk about this, you should go watch Cody Rhodes' promo that he did in AEW before he left against Sammy Guevara for the final TNT championship. And he literally starts it off by saying, I was told I should save this, but I think now there's a better time than ever. And looking back at it, he knew he had to say it because he was leaving.
Yep.
And it was his CM Punk promo. It was basically him saying, y'all, look, this guy before was the guy. He was about revolution. He was about change. But then he became about him. He became a sellout. He became about the money. And when he couldn't get what he wanted, he walked away. And he said all of this stuff about doing the indies, doing this. He didn't do any of that. But you know who did? I did. I went to the indies. I went to New Japan. I went around. I built this up from the ground with the Young Bucks and the Elite. Everything y'all love about CM Punk is me. And the fact that now he's coming, y'all will see that it's a fraud, that y'all put y'all money behind the wrong person. It was basically a shot to Tony Khan telling him, oh, you put your money behind CM Punk, you did the wrong thing. You should have put it behind me.
That'd be a really interesting conversation because I think they both made the right play. I think
Yeah.
I think Punk was the right play for him, and I think going to WWE was the right play for Cody because Cody
he needed that.
He's a WWE guy. Like his style works so much better than over there. And you see it before he got hurt, he was
the man. And like even when he gets hurt, the pec thing I think elevates him to another level.
It's going to be when he returns, which I'm assuming it's going to be Royal Rumble. He has to win Royal Rumble. Is that pop is going to be insane.
Yep,
he was already over when he was before he got hurt, and I know this is not the best case scenario, but getting hurt sometimes is the best thing for your character.
It was the best thing for him. It really was.
When he comes back, he was already a superstar. I think he's gonna be like a mega star when he comes back.
And you have to give Seth, and I guess this will be our transition to WWE talk, but you got to give Seth Rollins so much credit for putting Cody over in the best of ways. Seth didn't win a single match. And even he won once Cody got hurt, but he didn't officially win. But the way he put him over in that Peck match, that was one of the best things I've ever seen. Them pulling out the ropes on each other's hands, like that's up there. And I know we'll do this at the end of the year, but match of the year, that's got to be up there, man. The Peck match.
I think in terms of match of the year, in terms of like impact, it's one of the best. In terms of like in-ring work, it was still great. It was still like a 5-star match. Like, don't get me wrong.
It was the first WWE 5-star match from Meltzer they got in years.
Yeah. So like that being said, like if somebody gave that their match of the year, 100%, no problem with that. If we're talking Seth Rollins in the situation, it shows how good of a character he is, where he lost a lot and he lost nothing from it.
Not a single thing.
If anything, he got elevated even more,
which is insane to say. Yeah, man. Like it made him more of a villain. Like you took Cody Rhodes out and brought a sledgehammer to him, and you didn't win, but you still came out as a winner.
He has this like it's this thing where it's like you can knock him down or whatever, but like his personality is so just next level shit right now.
I'm literally hearing his sound go off.
It's like if he loses, who cares? Like he's gonna come back, and it's like it doesn't even matter. He's one of the best. I mean, he's probably the best wrestler in the last like 10 years for WWE. Like
easy.
He's reinvented himself like 4 times. He stayed at the top of the card this entire time. He was, I mean, he everywhere, all over the place. He was world champ. He was tag champ.
Anywhere he goes, he does the right thing. Like he's
always in the main event.
Yep,
he always makes it so that he is in the card.
He has that Kenny Omega thing where Kenny is not only like one of the best technical wrestlers like Bryan Danielson, but Bryan doesn't have that thing that Kenny and Seth have where yeah, I'm a good technical wrestler, but I could do everything else, and I'm good on the mic.
Yeah, it's how you. It's everybody has a run. Even now with Roman.
Roman, yeah.
The bloodline eventually is going to be done. What do you do after the bloodline? Like, that's what separates the good wrestlers from the great wrestlers.
Yep.
And Seth has done it multiple times, and he's just an extraordinary, not only in-ring worker, he's just
promo too. Yeah.
Well, it's funny I say that because I think he's ended the career of two people, but like for the most part, he is a very good in-ring worker. He elevates himself on the mic, he elevates himself on the camera. Now he's even elevating himself on social media. He is an incredible Twitter follow if you haven't followed him.
Yes, he is.
Because he is, well, I think it's a big thing with Vince leaving. He's not afraid to talk about AEW. He's not afraid to talk about New Japan.
Because those are his guys. He used to be in Ring of Honor with those guys. And I really think Triple H is using Seth to maybe recruit some of his old Ring of Honor guys. You have Kevin Steen. You have Tyler Black, i.e. Seth Rollins. And they're saying, hey, Triple H is in charge. It's different now. We're wrestlers again. Maybe Omega and the Bucks. If AEW's not working, maybe I want to come. Everybody's been wanting Kenny Omega versus Seth Rollins for years. I don't think Kenny would go, though. I think Kenny's using this for negotiations. But the fact that Triple H is in charge now, that door is open for all those Ring of Honor guys.
But I think another thing that about it is Rollins knows that if he talks about AEW or whatever on Twitter, they're going to his Twitter. That's Seth Rollins' Twitter. It doesn't matter what he's talking about. Your eyes are on Seth Rollins.
Yep.
And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand is that regardless of which promotion he's talking about, they're talking about Seth Rollins.
Yep, 100%.
And before with Vince, that wasn't like people got in trouble for. I think it's when
Adam Cole couldn't stream. Like what?
Yeah, they like cut their like Twitch stuff and all that jazz. But I think it was when AEW had their first pay-per-view, their first All Out in Chicago, and some like people tweeted about like how great of like an event it was, and they had like delete their tweets and they got fined because Vince didn't want them talking about it. And now it's completely different where if Seth Rollins talks about AEW or something like that, it had like 70,000 likes on Twitter. Like that's a shit ton of likes.
Yes, it is.
That gets the eyes on the product, even if it's not talking about the product.
But and that's what it should happen though. Like, and I'm glad Triple H is okay with that because there's nothing wrong with that. If AEW is successful, it brings more eyes to wrestling, which could get more eyes to WWE. Same thing and vice versa. Competition is good, and that's what I love to see. So before we get to Grand Slam, let me ask you, because we'll talk more WWE next time, but I think our WWE conversation for this episode should be Roman in the belt. How do you think they should take the belts off of Roman? How do you feel about the bloodline? For me, I absolutely love the bloodline. You have Roman with both belts. You have the Usos with the tag team. Now you have Solo Sikoa with the North American. Hated seeing Melo get off it, but that tells me Melo's about to come up. That's what that tells me.
I think he's gonna come up for like I'd say like pay-per-views. I can see him coming up.
Or is it Braun Breaker comes up? Is it Braun Breaker comes up weekly and you give Melo the overall NXT championship?
See, I felt like that would make sense too, but since they already had him get the belt from, he already has the North American belt, I think it's gonna stay there.
Okay.
Which it kind of sucks because you could right now I feel like Braun doesn't have a real challenger.
Make it Melo.
And I think that would have been great. They could take it off of Braun and then they could feud for months and it'd be fine. And because he has that bloodline name, it elevates him to like that level of a status. Giving him the mid-tier belt, it's fine. It shows that like they're dominant. They hold belts in all WWE like promotions. That's perfectly fine. With Reigns though, I think the only logical like way that he loses the belt is to Cody Rhodes. It has to be.
Now this is my thoughts to you. Let me pitch it.
Let's hear it.
So WrestleMania, you gotta do Rock Roman. You keep the belts on him for WrestleMania. He beats Roman. I mean, he beats The Rock. Has the 1,000 days where he is the Universal Champion.
Okay.
After the 1,000 days, SummerSlam, the next big pay-per-view, you take it off of him. Triple threat match. Cody Rhodes and someone else, and whoever it is, you have Cody Rhodes pin for one of the belts for the WWE belt, the Raw belt, and then you have Roman pin the other guy or whatever, and keep the Universal, and then you get the Universal off of him later. That way, Fox has their champion, USA has their champion, Cody's the WWE, and then Roman, you can get him off of him at the next one, and then have a new Universal champion.
I didn't really think of The Rock. Okay, I guess if you want long-term booking,
yeah, mine was super like mine was like going till next SummerSlam. That's a long time.
No, I think that's good. I think you can even go longer.
Ooh, okay.
I think what you can do is have The Rock win the Royal Rumble, have The Rock eliminate Cody Rhodes. They're the final two. The Rock eliminates Cody Rhodes. That way, The Rock fights Roman at WrestleMania. Then next year's Royal Rumble, have Cody Rhodes eliminate The Rock.
Woo!
And then Cody can fight Roman. If you want long term.
The only thing with that is The Rock gonna give him 2 years? Like, I don't know if The Rock's giving him 2 years.
I don't know if 2 years, but if they can give say like 5 matches instead of like 2 years.
Okay.
Like if you can do like Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, you can do like 3 matches.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got to put one in between, whether that's SummerSlam or whatever.
Yeah, it would probably be SummerSlam. That would probably make the most sense.
Okay, I like that. Is there any way? Oh, go ahead. Keep going.
I think Cody has to beat Roman.
I'm with you. He's the only hero that can, because he's the only genuine hero. Roman is M. Bison. Roman is like the emperor. Like, you got to give a Luke Skywalker. You got to give some baby face that loves wrestling, that embodies the business. He's a royal family. Like, it's Anoa'i family versus Rhodes's. The Rhodes, like, there's so much implication with just Cody. It's like their wrestling history. Give it to him. And then you have the perfect villain for Cody right when it finishes with Seth Rollins.
It's honestly great, because then you can also, Roman can, after he loses, he can go away for like a year. And then when he comes back, it's going to be insane.
And that's what he needs to do. He has to go off for a year, because I listened to Roman's interview with Logan Paul. He has a big family. Like, Roman has 2 sets of twins.
5 kids or something like that.
5 kids, an old daughter, and 2 sets of twins. His one set is 5, the other set is 2. Roman wants to be a dad for a little bit. So let him go away for a year, like you're saying. And then when he comes back, bro, I'm getting the bloodline back together. You can do it all over again, where Jey Uso's like, nah, bro, you lost. And Roman's like, oh, I lost it? Let me prove to you that I won it. And beat down all the bloodline, get them back. And then boom, we're right back in it.
The problem with like losing the bloodline though is I feel like it's gonna maybe not the Usos, but
Solo.
Like, you know how they have all the belts? I feel like they need to lose all the belts at the same time. I guess they could all go away at the same time and it's fine or whatever.
You could have it where Solo's the only one there, like, lost all his power, and that could be his storyline. Like, he's fighting. That
could be his NXT storyline, where like, my cousins, like, they all lost and they left, and I'm still here. Like,
I'm doing it alone.
Whatever.
Yeah,
he could turn heel on like his own family.
Yep.
But I would really love to see Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens win the tag titles off of the Usos.
You read my mind. They are the only one. Like, I want Kevin Owens with some sort of gold. And granted, I know he can't be champion right now. Maybe when Roman uses the Universal, you can get him over there and he can do that, because Cody has to be the WWE. But to your point, they are setting up Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens so freaking well.
Yeah.
Like, that has to happen.
I'd be so happy.
The fourth Oos.
Yes. I mean, his involvement with the bloodline
is nuts.
Sami Zayn is like, it's when you think of like, I this might be preposterous, but like, I view like The Miz as like a first round, like a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he's just how he elevated like the Intercontinental champ, and just how he's just immaculate.
The Miz has been WWE's like one of their best heels before Roman.
Yeah,
like
he's insane how good The Miz is. Sami Zayn is like The Miz,
but for babyface,
like, not even babyface. It's like if The Miz took like, I don't know, like heroin or something like that, and then went out and wrestled, because he looks homeless. He looks crazy. He has like crazy antics all the time, but like,
awesome.
It works.
That little dance,
it works every time.
He broke Jey Uso.
I'm never sick. Yeah, I'm never sick of Sami Zayn, and he's also an incredible wrestler. Like,
Yes.
he's so good in the ring too. Where if he just continue, it'd be fun to have like his crazy self. Kevin Owens kind of be like the voice of reason, and this
The
their
prize
dynamic
fighter.
being tag champs
Yeah.
would be so much fun because I think the WWE tag
It doesn't have the
like
luster.
it seems a little stagnant. It's like
Mm-hmm.
we have Usos, New Day, Alpha Academy, Street
Street Profit. That's
Profits,
it.
and it's like I feel like it's been like that for like 2 years, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we just need like a spark
And
for
Alpha
their tag
Academy can't
division.
hold the belt. Like, I'm sorry, they're just not good enough.
They'd be fine to hold the belt for like 2 weeks, like
Yeah.
a transition
Transition.
team.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
it's fine if they like win by like a gimmick. Like if it's like a 4-team tag match and they win, it's like sure,
But
but
if you
they need
have
to
to
lose it
split
2 weeks later.
if you have to split the belts, like you said, give Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn the Raw one, and
Yeah,
probably the New Day SmackDown, or if
yeah.
you want to keep it on the Usos, whatever. But awesome. I'm glad we had this WWE Roman Reigns bloodline talk. We'll talk more WWE next time.
Yeah.
But to finish off the first episode of this video series, podcast, whatever you want to call it, let's talk. What's the pay-per-view called?
Grand Slam.
Grand Slam.
I don't even think it's a pay-per-view. I think it's just on TV.
Oh, okay. So this is just like
It's like a premiere, like
television episode,
super show
super
type
card.
of thing.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Well, let's start at the bottom, which Chris Jericho's that dude, man. Chris Jericho got Tony in his pocket. Not only was Chris Jericho in the tournament for the AEW championship. Oh, wait, I'm fighting Claudio Castagnoli for Ring of Honor. And I would not be shocked if he beats Claudio. Would not.
I
don't want him to.
If he does, I hope it's by cheating. I hope it's not straight up. And
then that way you can make it to where him and Daniel Garcia have beef and it's over. Like, Garcia's out of there.
I'm trying to think of how they want to like do the whole Daniel Garcia thing, because I think that's really fun as well. But like Claudio's only wrestled, I think, 4 matches in AEW.
Yeah.
I think he's defended his title once.
He defended it against Dustin Rhodes, which was the worst defense I've ever freaking seen. Yeah, that's it. He has to be Chris Jericho. No, you're right. You are absolutely right.
I don't think he has to beat Jericho. I think I don't think Jericho can win without cheating, because Claudio needs to like the only way you could have beaten me is by cheating.
And
like,
then he comes back and wins again. Yeah.
And if they want to feud that way, that's cool. Or Daniel Garcia can fuck with him or something like that, and Claudio can like roll him up and get a win.
Mm-hmm.
I see. I'm trying to think, because Jericho just lost to Danielson. I don't know if Jericho is going like on tour with his band or something like that. So I would have to like look at that, because a lot of times when he'll like lose some matches and then go on tour and then come back a few months later. I would have to look at when Fozzie's tour schedule is. But if I had, do you want to do like predictions or something like that?
Yeah, we can predict who wins, and then next time when that happens, we'll make a video on who wins.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
We could do it to where we keep our stats on like Pete's record versus Lynn's record.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, let me check Fozzie's tour schedule real quick.
So you know.
Okay, so they go on tour starting the 29th, and they're on tour until April 3rd. So I'm gonna say Claudio.
Yeah, now that
I'm saying Claudio wins. I'm gonna say Claudio wins clean. I'm gonna say he wins clean. Yep, no interference or anything like that.
I'm going to say Claudio wins clean as well, especially because you said that. And I just watched an interview with Tony Khan, or this was actually Jericho Scrum. They asked him, could you do a Fozzy show at like a wrestling event? He was like, no, because it takes 2 different brains. When I'm focusing on Fozzy, I'm focusing just on that. And when I'm focused on wrestling, I'm just on that. And since he's touring till April, this is his vacation. You're absolutely right. Claudio wins. And honestly, this could be the downfall of the Jericho Appreciation Society, where Daniel Garcia leaves and it could break up while he's gone. And then when Jericho comes back, new gimmick. I could see that being a thing.
And you could still have, Jericho can still come back every now and then for like appearances for the Jericho Appreciation Society. That way he like keeps his like his stable intact while he's on tour. but I just can't see him holding a belt for 4 months while he's on tour.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. Okay, Pac versus Orange Cassidy. This is for the All Atlantic Championship. Pac's the champion, but you know what, Pete? I'm swerving. I'm picking Orange Cassidy, and I'm picking Orange Cassidy to win.
Ooh.
I don't know if I want to say clean or not. I'm gonna say Orange isn't a heel, but I'm gonna say some shenanigans happen.
Okay, I'm gonna say because Orange Cassidy is from New Jersey, he's not going to win because it's for the All Atlantic Championship, and that was like specifically made
for Europe, yeah,
or not even Europe, just non-US or non-North
wrestlers.
America. I guess it's kind of like I guess Ethan Page competed. He's from Canada. So,
yeah, it's literally just from other countries. You're right.
Yeah, not the United States, but so because Orange Cassidy is from New Jersey, I'm gonna say Pac wins. And I think this will be a fun match because
Orange is that dude. He can wrestle.
Orange can wrestle. He actually just wrestled in Minneapolis on Saturday.
Honestly, one of the best matches of the year is Ospreay and Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that match had no right being as good as it was.
I thought Ospreay was gonna dog walk him.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, Orange Cassidy has a fan in Lynden because that match was nuts.
Yes.
That's why I'm picking. I'm literally picking him because of how good he was against Ospreay.
I like that, but I think if it wasn't for the All Atlantic Championship,
no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
I would consider it. I think it's gonna be like a really fun match because Pac is so serious, deadpanned, and Orange Cassidy's like a goofball.
Comedy. Yep.
I think this will be a really fun match, but I do think Pac's gonna go over clean.
I'm not mad at that. Okay, next match we got is Toni Storm, Serena Deeb, Athena, and Dr. Britt Baker. Look, bro, if Toni Storm doesn't win this, then what the hell was her championship run? You could have just gave it to Dr. Britt Baker the first time. I'm picking Toni Storm.
Okay, I think this is a 2-horse race. I think it's either Toni Storm or Britt Baker.
I agree.
Athena lost to Jade Cargill, so there's no reason for her to win, which sucks because I think she has the best women's finishing move. I love her like stunner from the top rope.
She has potential to be great. I think she's gonna be the one to take Jade out whenever it's time.
I don't foresee Jade losing for like 2 years.
Damn, I was gonna say a year, but I think in that year that's when Athena takes her out. But
the only way Jade is losing is to elevate her to like
that's what I'm saying, to the next championship.
But like we would need like somebody to they would have to like cheat. Like they're not gonna beat. They're not. There's no way they're gonna beat Jade.
Babyfacer.
There's no chance. There have to be like a super mega heel and turn Jade face or something like that.
Well, yeah, and when they turn her face, that's when she gets the AEW championship. You're absolutely right.
If it was me, I would, because like Jade has everything but the in-ring work, which is why she's not like the main champion. But like
she's getting there.
When Jade is the champion, she's going to be like a Roman Reigns. Like she's gonna hold the belt for a year plus.
Yeah, she's gonna be the biggest women's champion in AEW history. Like Tony Khan's going to give her the world because he knows that Jade Cargill, out of all the stars right now in AEW, she is WWE made. Like, Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair, that's a WrestleMania match.
When Jade's contract is up, it's going to be really interesting to see how much money they're going to be offering because I'm assuming WWE is willing to pay her a lot of money.
They're waiting.
And if AEW is smart, they don't really have. They have women stars, but they don't have women superstars.
Jade Cargill,
They don't have Sasha Banks. They don't have Becky Lynch.
And they're not getting Sasha Banks now that Triple H is in charge.
Nope. But you know who's really close to that? Jade Cargill.
I agree. The two people that WWE want is Jade Cargill and MJF.
They'd back the truck up for MJF. But if back to this match though, I think it's between Toni Storm and Dr. Britt Baker. If I had to pick, let's see. So you
gotta pick.
Claudio's a face and he's gonna win. Pac is a heel and he wins. Oh man, I think I'm leaning. Okay, I think it's Toni Storm, but I think it's like 51-49 because I can see Britt winning again. It makes sense. She chasing after a heel champion makes sense. She's good. She's a good women's champion.
Yeah, she has the personality.
And when Thunder Rosa comes back, if they want to refuel that feud again, because they have like real life beef. It
Yes,
sounds
they
like
do. Yes, they do.
that could be interesting.
They're
So
literally women Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. Like they hate each
yeah.
other.
So I'm gonna go Tony Storm by this much.
I'm at
Because I think
I'm at 60-40 Tony because I'm just like, why? Like Tony to me could have a brilliant rivalry with Britt Baker, and I think Tony's better in the ring than Thunder Rosa. Like
yeah,
I love Tony
I just don't think it makes sense to give up the belt
that soon. Yeah,
that soon. Have her win on a pay-per-view and at
Mhm.
least establish her a little bit more.
And then you take it from her.
If she drops it from Britt the following pay-per-view, sure.
Fine. Yep, I agree.
But let's build up Tony Storm a little bit more as because she's interim right now. Like let's have her solidified as the champion for at 2 months at least.
And let's turn her into a star. Like I think Tony Storm has potential to be a star. Like they need more than just Britt Baker.
She has the look and everything. It's just something about Tony Storm just doesn't
do it for you.
It doesn't do it for me. There's something missing from her. I don't know if it's her character or her in-ring work, but something is just missing where she's just like she's one tier below, and I don't see her ever getting out of it. Real. I hope I'm wrong because
I hope you're wrong too.
she's beautiful.
And yeah, she is.
And she's really good.
She's great in the ring. Yeah,
and she has the look and everything. It's just I feel like she's
maybe she needs a manager. Like maybe she has the early Roman problem where Roman gets Paul Heyman, and it turns up maybe she needs a Paul Heyman.
I think the biggest problem is she's been the same character. The eye under the line under the eye, the backwards cap
since WWE.
She's been like that for 5+ years. I think she just needs a tweak or a revamp or something to get me interested in her. But to be honest, of these 4, I'm not really interested in any of them.
Yeah, and honestly, the one I'm most interested in is DMD. It probably personality wise.
Yeah, like I think like I like Serena and Athena in the ring.
Me too.
But like I don't like them on the mic.
Yep.
Where like I like Britt on the mic and she's okay in the ring.
Yeah, she's all right.
And Tony Storm is just like in the middle of everything. I think she's a good wrestler and I think she's an okay talker.
I agree. Britt Baker's trying to do her best Adam Cole moves.
None of them are like an S tier wrestler or an S tier mouthpiece or something like that. Where like it's fine if they're champ because they're so good on the mic or they're so good in the ring. It doesn't matter.
There's a distinct difference between the WWE women's superstars and the AEW. When you look at WWE, Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss, freaking Bailey, the SmackDown champion, Liv Morgan. I even like Shayna Baszler becoming the new Triple H. Like they are great.
They're doing a fantastic job. Especially, I was always a huge fan of Liv Morgan. I thought that she was really underrated when she was in the Riot Squad, but
now she
was never like the focal piece to that. And now she's given the chance and she ran with it. And now she deserves to be champ. And I want to see that from the AEW's women's champion. Like one of I want to see them like be deserving of the champ.
I agree. You know what we said about the Gun Club, how they need NXT? I feel like how Mandy Rose was like a mid-carder in WWE, goes to NXT, develops, and now is like this brilliant champion for NXT. I feel like some of these AEW women's competitors could use that. Same thing that happened with Mandy Rose. Because Mandy Rose now is ready for the WWE main stage. Like, she is great.
When Fatal Attraction and Mandy Rose is just one of my favorite, like, just acts period in WWE. It's so good.
Yep. So now let's get to the match that just upsets the living hell out of me. Because I don't know what is going on with this tag team division. I have no idea because I know whoever wins this, they're going to just get blown out by FTR. Like, I don't know why we don't want to make them 8-star FTR. I feel like he's waiting for the Bucks, but the Bucks are probably not going to be in this for a while. So, and if the Claim win, they're so over. Are you just going to bury them with FTR? Like, nope. I don't understand where this is going because the Claim cannot beat FTR. And I feel like if the Claim wins this, they're going to lose to FTR. And Max Caster already was doing stuff like giving IG hints that they might do a singles run soon, but him and Bowens would always be family.
I am in the opposite.
Ooh, okay.
I think that how hot the Acclaim is right now. They're on fire.
I agree.
The fact that they are selling a shirt that says "Scissor Me, Daddy Ass,"
I'm getting some. I'm getting one,
and it's selling like hotcakes shows that they are unstoppable right now. I think that the Acclaim are easily winning this match.
Ooh.
I don't even think it's gonna be close because I also think that Keith Lee and Swerve are going to.
So you think the split up for them is happening?
I think the split. I think it should have happened a while ago.
I agree.
First of all, Swerve in Your Glory, I think, is a terrible tag team.
And they're not even a real tag team. They play separate music. Every time they don't come out together, I get pissed off. But see, I think we're on the same page with this match. I think we're just on I don't like the outcome that is gonna happen next because it's FTR should have been champions. Like, I don't know what's happening.
I think FTR is on the level of Seth Rollins, where they can lose to the Acclaim and they're fine. But
okay.
Also, the Acclaim have Billy Gunn, where they could cheat. Like the Acclaim just turn into be more heels and just don't lose the belt for a while. I think the Acclaim are winning this match.
Ooh, okay.
I think they'll win the match by Keith Lee and Swerve kind of fucking up and getting into each other's faces and kind of
getting heated with themselves. Yeah.
And then that way they feud.
Mm-hmm.
And the Acclaimed are your new champ. So yeah, I'm going Acclaimed.
I'm liking that. And I know we only have one different right now, but I was feeling this way. And I'm not switching. We're gonna have the same one with this one. So it seems like if our difference one, which will determine our record, will be Pac and Orange Cassidy. But I'm picking the Acclaim
or the championship match.
Or the champion. True. I'm going to Acclaim. Scissor me, daddy ass.
Yep.
I love it, man.
I legit think this is a 99% lock that the Acclaim
they are over, bro.
They're the most nuts. I think they're the most overact in AEW.
I agree.
It's MJF, maybe MJF, and then the Acclaimed.
I would say the Acclaimed are the most over faces because they're not heels. I don't see them as heels. They gotta be baby faces.
Honestly, they should just be super cocky faces where they're just they're douchebags.
They're with Thugonomics, John. What we wanted from John the whole time.
I think they could easily transition into heel. I think they could easily start being scummy and cheating when they're losing. I don't think that'd be a problem. But they're so over. It's hard for them to not be a face, even if you try to make them a heel. So
I'm with you.
I think the Acclaim are easily winning this.
Cool. So right now we both have Claudio. I have Orange. You have Pac. We both have Tony Storm. We both have the Acclaim. Now let's do it. Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley. You know where I stand with this.
I know you do.
I am Jon Moxley. Wild Thing. There's no way you give him that promo where he's like, yeah, I was supposed to go on vacation, but fuck that. I'm here to be a legend. I'm going to be the face of AEW. No, he didn't say the face. He said he was going to be the ace. And you know how he feels about that with Tanahashi in New Japan. He takes that seriously. I think he convinced Tony Khan, I'm the ace of AEW. Give me the belt. I'm going Jon Moxley.
I think this is super tough because I think you can go one of two ways. One, they played up that Bryan hurt his ankle against Jericho in the match. And Moxley can
beat his ankle,
go after it, and then you could have Moxley and Danielson be like, "Hey, you beat me because my ankle's fucked up. If my ankle's healed, I can take the belt off you." And then that way they can. But it's cool because they're teammates.
Yeah,
and I like that style. I don't think either one of them has to be a heel in the situation. They can just be
rivals. Yeah,
they want to fight.
Make it really sports based. We respect each other. We're just doing this for the love of the sport.
Also, I think you could go the Danielson route where he won both titles at WrestleMania, where he was hurt, came back, he tapped out Randy Orton and won the belts, and then that's how the huge yes chants started going crazy with that. And you could have Bryan Danielson on his last leg,
his last run,
all he's got, and then beat Moxley, because I do think eventually Danielson will hold the belt.
Yeah,
I think it makes sense for his legacy to at least hold it once, and this seems like a fine time to do it. And it seems like one of those situations where he could win, he could be on he has an injured ankle, he continues wrestling with an injured ankle, and he could lose the belt to MJF.
I was literally about to pitch to you, if Danielson wins, I think at this show John Moxley goes at his ankle, tears it up to shreds, and then boom, cash in. MJF's champion that night. Now Mox is pissed. Mox MJF feud for the next pay-per-view.
Yeah. So it's like who I was thinking whether the cash in's gonna be now. I don't think it is. I think they want to save that for like a bigger pay-per-view because I don't think that this is a pay-per-view. So I think I think I'm gonna go Danielson wins. And then down the road at pay-per-view, they continue to feud. Mox wins at pay-per-view, and then MJF cashes it on Mox.
Okay.
So yeah. So for this match specifically, I think this is tough. I think it could go either way. I'm gonna go Danielson.
I like
Danielson
it.
Finally gets the belt one.
Nice. Okay, so we're going separate. I'm giving a caveat that if Danielson does win, that MJF cashes in this night, so I can maybe get a point that way. But I'm going with Mox. Awesome. We got our card predictions. This is happening this Wednesday, huh? This upcoming Wednesday.
Two Wednesdays.
Okay, 2 Wednesdays from now. So that's when you can expect the next video from me and Pete when we recap what's going on and we discuss what's been happening in the wrestling world, because this doesn't have to necessarily be a weekly series. I think it'd be better that way. So now we'll discuss this, pick it back up then. This was awesome, Pete. Tell the people they can follow you on social media, my man.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the only wrestling thing. So if you want to follow me for my wrestling takes, follow Lynden instead. Or join his Discord or something like that, and we can talk wrestling. Otherwise, I mean, I'm the host of an anime podcast, so if you want to hear my anime takes, listen to the What Do You Say Anime podcast, found everywhere podcasts can be found, and on YouTube for visual content.
100%. And tell me where to find you on Twitter, man.
Oh, sure, yeah. My handle's What Do You Say Annie? What Do You Say ANI on Twitter? You can stay up to date on all of my like social media takes. It's mostly anime, but I'm cool if you guys want to talk wrestling or whatever. I might tweet some stuff too.
Hit him up, man.
Well, okay, the beauty of anime is there are so many wrestling fans.
Exactly.
It correlates. Mm-hmm. So maybe some. I mean, I was just talking in my Discord before this that
and we'll put the link. We'll put the link to your Discord in the video description as well.
All right, yeah, for sure. And like we were talking anime that went into wrestling, and I just found out that one of the guys that chit chats in my Discord is a wrestling fan. So now I have another wrestling fan that I can talk to. So it's just one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, they mesh together perfectly. So I would say that if you like wrestling, you should check out anime as well.
100%. Y'all go follow Pete at his on his Twitters. Go check out his podcast. We will put the links to his description, the links to his Discord in the description, and we'll put the links to his social media in the description as well. Look, man, we're trying to make this a series or podcast, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
If y'all like it, let us know. Follow me at LynnBWT. Follow BrosWhoThink at BrosWhoThink. And until the next time, we'll talk to y'all in 2 weeks at the result of this AEW thing. And we'll see you soon. Until then, peace.
See you.